Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm doing a tag video, and I have a confession. I was not actually tagged for this, but I figure that's probably because I don't do that many tag videos, because I just only randomly do them when I feel like it. So I'm just going to pretend that Scott from the Bald BookTuber tagged me, because watching his video was what made me go, hey, that was kind of fun, so I'm going to do this. So I'm sure if he thought I might have done it, he would have, and just didn't tag me because, I mean, I've done like 2 tag videos in the last year, so it's kind of usually a waste of time to tag me. I'll just do the tag if I want to. Anyways, this is going to be the quarter-year crisis, which is, we've really butchered the term midlife crisis now, but whatever. Let's get into it. Okay, so tags. Haven't done a tag in a while, but kind of just randomly felt like doing this one because I wanted a video. So, question 1 of the quarter-year crisis book tag, which it's kind of weird I'm doing this because I'm probably not going to do the mid-year crisis, which I'm assuming is a thing because I think the name comes from midlife crisis. I have read 34 books this year with an asterisk in that one that I'm going to talk about very shortly was in fact a DNF. I didn't actually finish it, so really I've read 33 books this year, but also the book I'm reading I'm like halfway into, so maybe that can count as the second half of the DNF. So I've kind of read 34 books. A lot more short books this year than last year. My average page count is definitely way down, which is why, I mean, I've read more books than I had this point last year, but that's because last year I started by reading like The Bone Hunters Through the Crippled God, Rapid Fire, and then a bunch of Realm of the Elderlings books, and like Tigana and Brian Lee Durfee's books. So like, I got to the point where I got to the Poppy War, and I was like, oh, these books are really short. The Burning God is a 600-page hardcover. So this year I've read 34 books, but they're normal length. I mean, they're actually long by most people's definition, but by my definition, they're short. And the question 2 is, have you already found a book that you think might be a 2022 favorite? And then it has an if not, but I don't need the if not because, as you can guess, I am almost entirely sure that my favorite book of 2022 will be Lord of Emperors by Guy Gavriel Kay. It is comfortably my favorite book by Guy Gavriel Kay, who is one of my favorite authors. It, I think, is exquisite in basically every aspect. The writing is outstanding. It's getting even better as I sit on it. I literally sometimes, like, there's some of the quotes that I just will say. The characterization is immaculate. Like, it's got such a deep bullpen of really good characters where it keeps POV hopping and introducing new characters, and I'm interested in every single one of them. The entire last half of this book, despite not necessarily being epic, was just so powerful and well written. The attention to detail was out of this world. It's a truly outstanding book. I kind of wish the Sarantine Mosaic was one huge hardcover, but I have serious doubts that I will read anything this year that I like more than this bad boy. Also, shout out to Isaac, who is one of the people in my university book club who saw this in a used bookstore and thought of me. Isaac, you're the GOAT. I now have the hardcover. Yay! Okay, so next question on a less upbeat note. 3 is, what is your least favorite book you've read in 2022 so far? And I kind of have 2 here, because there's one I DNF'd, so I feel like if I have one DNF, it kind of has to be that. But I actually think I didn't enjoy it less than the book I didn't DNF. It just, I was mostly finished this book, because it was part of a read-along, which is this one I finished, The Emperor's Blades by Brian Staveley. I have a talk with Jimmy Nuts from the Fantasy Network, Sarah from Sarah Reads, and Alan from the Library of Alexandria. It's on Alan's channel. It's spoilery. I was actually somehow the least negative on this book, because, I don't know, I felt bad just crapping on it. But I don't understand why it's popular. It like, this book, there's definitely books I've liked less than this, because this wasn't, like, horrifically boring to read, but I just, like, I don't know what's good about this book, to be completely honest. Like, the writing is fine, and it has some cool concepts, but, like, it has all these, like, it really leans into the, like, mentorship that is just abuse trope. I find the character who has the most POV time, who's this guy, Valen, to just not be interesting at all. He's like a complete mess. I don't find anything compelling about him. It is some of the most convoluted things I've ever read in books. Things that just feel like errors. Almost every chapter, there would be something that I would just be like, that just feels like a mistake was made that should have not made a final draft of a book. Like, it felt like, yeah, it was super unpolished, and it's one of those books that it wasn't fast either, so it wasn't like a popcorn read. And like, it's a 400 and something page book, 492 pages, and I legitimately feel like it could have started on page 380. And then, I mean, the climax, again, set up cool things, but then the execution of it just left me baffled. Obviously, the read-along abandoned it, but I found this really disappointing. Anyways, the book I DNF'd that I probably don't like less, but, I mean, maybe if I kept reading it, I would have liked it less, was Shorefall by Robert Jackson Bennett. Basically, Foundry Side I found really fun because, like, the plot was, like, very page-turny, and the magic system was really cool, but I didn't care that much about, like, the characters. The world had some cool stuff. This the magic system, this is still really cool. I actually think it's a fantastically creative and well done hard magic system, but I wasn't compelled, and it introduces a new character, this guy, who's like a really old character, and it's probably, I'm somewhat picky when it comes to really old characters. This is probably my least favorite, like, really old character I've ever read. He felt extraordinarily childish. His motto is just kind of nonsense. Like, he kept saying this thing, and it felt like it was supposed to be, like, super deep, and he's just like, the problem with might is that there's always someone mightier. And I'm like, do you even believe that? This seems like very specific advice. This is only true because you're around. Like, do you think someone's mightier than you? Like, if you weren't around, these people would be right. I don't know. He kept monologuing. I'm sick of villains monologuing when their goal is murder. And, like, I don't, like, this is a multi-thousand-year-old character, and he somehow, I mean, wants to monologue before he kills people for some reason. Like, do you actually care about this after living for thousands of years? I don't know. So, despite a really cool magic system that actually is, like, it's legitimately a fantastic hard magic system, I didn't like the rest of this book, and I didn't feel like reading it. I got about halfway in. But yeah, I'm gonna probably give both of these books away today. One reason I'm filming this video today, but I'm doing a book exchange, and I'm probably going to give these away if anyone wants them. So, hopefully I give them to people who enjoy them more than me, because I know people do like this book and Emperor's Blades. I kind of get it more for this book. I don't really get why people like Emperor's Blade, but obviously people do, and I don't need to understand it for that to be legitimate. What is your most read genre this year so far? Shocking absolutely no one. It is fantasy. It is pretty much always going to be fantasy. I don't have the stats for it. I guess I've read some sci-fi books. I can actually check now. Yeah, so I think I've read 6 sci-fi books, and the rest has been fantasy. Those have been the only 2 genres I've read, unless you count stuff I had to read for school, in which case I've read some non-fiction as well. But most of those I didn't read cover to cover, so I'm not going to include them. And I didn't actually want to read them, and so I'm not going to rate them, because the point of them wasn't to be enjoyable. The point of them was to instruct about something, so it kind of feels weird to rate them. Yeah, so 4, the answer is probably always going to be fantasy. But anyways, 5 is, what is a book you have read in 2022 that surprised you? So this would have to be Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin, because I didn't know what to expect from it at all. I know it was a history text, and I really enjoyed it quite a bit more than I expected to. I found it really engaging. It had some just really good storytelling, had some really interesting lore and world building, as well as just for characters, did a lot with very little. Didn't have any dialogue, or basically no dialogue, or any internal monologue, and still managed to have some really compelling characters. It actually ended up being very smooth. Like, it wasn't a slow read. Sometimes it was even almost page-turny, and I, read pretty late into the night without noticing what time it was. So definitely would have to be Fire and Blood. Definitely would recommend to any fan of A Song of Ice and Fire, especially if you are interested in history. I thought it was quite a bit more engaging than I thought it was going to be. I have a talk with it about Shake that was my last video I uploaded. If you are interested in that, it's spoilery, but videos, no comments on it. I don't know what's going on with that. Anyways, this book was really good, and definitely surprised me because I had no idea what to expect for that. What is one goal you're succeeding at in 2022 so far? Well, I don't know. One of my goals, I wanted to start a book club at my university and try and get people to join it so we could have people talk about books, and I've succeeded at that, so yay. And 8 is, what is one goal you want to focus on more? And I feel like I would like to actually, I don't know. I don't have a good answer to that. I'll figure it out. This isn't about books. This isn't what I signed up for. We're moving on. And number 9, the last prompt is, are there any new booktubers you have come across that you would want to promote? And the answer is absolutely yes. Well, technically, Scott, who I'm responding to, I believe started his channel in 2022, so he counts. But I also, new channel that I've run into that is going to have way more subscribers than me, and might already, I don't even know. But in the future, will definitely pass me in subscribers because their videos are better. And that is the Library Ladder, who I first saw because of their 2 Guy Gavriel K videos. They have the smoothest voice ever, and also are part of the Guy Gavriel K propaganda machine, except it's not propaganda, because propaganda has to not be true, and the Guy Gavriel K praise is absolutely true. But his videos are fantastic. He's super well read. He's read a huge amount of books. His videos are also very well edited, and they're very much made to be compelling, front to back. They're not dry while also feeling very like, I don't know, like sometimes when he doesn't like a book, it's almost more savage than like, a rant review like, this was terrible, compared to like if he's describing a book that he thinks is bad. It's just that maybe won an award one year instead of Guy Gavriel K. He'll just be like,
in my opinion, it's inexcusable that he's never even been nominated for a Nebula Award. And all the more so when I consider that Jack McDevitt, an unremarkable science fiction hack, was nominated for the Best Novel Nebula in each of the 3 years that Kay's Sarantine Mosaic and Under Heaven were eligible.
When this book won this year, which was from a sci-fi hack writer, talentless hack writer, and I'm just like, damn. Anyway, he's mostly not doing that, but really good content. Would highly recommend both his videos on Guy Gavriel K. I never did a Fiona of Our Tapestry review, and basically him talking about the Fiona of Our Tapestry in his tier list of Guy Gavriel K videos, where he describes all the cons while also saying like, but I still think it's really good, is basically exactly how I feel. And that basically, if I did a Fiona of Our review, it would be, I agree with that guy when he put Fiona of Our in very good, but then described a bunch of issues he has with it, which are all totally legit. Okay. Oh yeah, now I'm supposed to tag people. I didn't think of this. I could just tag Chase, because that's what I always do. But I don't know. No one tagged me to do this, so I don't know. Do it if you want to. I don't know. I don't care. I didn't get tagged, and I'm doing it. I haven't been struck down by the vengeful god of BookTube, so you can probably just do it no matter what, and no one will care. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the tag. Don't do a lot of these, but felt like doing this one. I don't know why. I'm gonna go grab a bunch of books to give away to other people in the book club that I mostly don't like, but some because I have duplicates of. Bye, everyone.